Hi there, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to take you through the construction process as well as detail all the materials that you need to do a decking that measures approximately 197 square meters. Now, this project, we have already established that the DPC to decking level of this project cost us both for the material as well as the labor that brought this project to this level from the DPC is 8,260,000 naira. So in this video, we are going to detail all the materials used as well as the quantities and what it cost us for a summary of the cost for all the materials and labor for the entire decking. Stay tuned as we take you through the process. Now, soon after the leveling of blocks have been completed, the next thing that starts is the decking. So we start our decking by taking the beams, and here is more like we call it leveling for the purpose. Now, during block work, in some cases you see that the height of blocks may not be exactly the same. So what we do is, as soon as we come to decking level, we take the beam, we use the beam to correct whatever level that has not been corrected up to that point. So you take the beam and draw it from one point to another. Take, for instance, from the front of the building to the back, ensuring that the beam is equal. Now, this may have an effect, being that the beam may measure 1 foot here and measure 9 inches here. But by the end of the day, you see that the decking is relatively on a plumb level. Now, after that, of course, when we start putting the struts that carry the decking, that's the 2x3, we use the bamboo to support the weight of the board, which will also support the weight of the concrete when the casting is done. So after that is being done, then of course we lay a DPM, which helps the wood not to stick, and of course to give a relatively smooth surface when the decking is loosened. Now the next thing after that is to of course the iron work starts. With the iron work, of course, you can see we lay it is done in a crisscross kind of way with a spacing of 150 millimeters on both sides. And for this particular building, there were some pergolas, which of course we have to do the iron work as well as the casting to ensure that it stands in its position when finished. So this decking has different kinds of works, and of course we have to painstakingly do them one after the other to ensure that everything is in its place by the end of the day. Just have a look at what we did here. Now, by the time the iron work is done to reasonable level, nearing completion, maybe about 80 to 90% completion, the next work that happens here is the electrical work. So the electrical work is such that we pipe to ensure that all the lighting points that you expect to have on the ground floor, from the ceiling lights, the sockets, the wall brackets if you want that, and of course the switches are put in place. Now you don't want to have a situation when you finish and start cracking the deckings. No, it's a no for us. So what you do is, in most cases, you ensure that before the decking is cast, that you've put all these things in place. So at this point, even if you want to have the staircase light and the rest of them, is at this point that you put them before the casting of the decking is done. So at this point, the electrician is doing his work, putting the lighting points where they are needed as is on drawing, to ensure that by the end of the day, the building come out as expected. Now, another activity that we normally do before we cast our decking is the plumbing work, which is more or less the mechanical work, right? So all the channels through which water enters and leaves the building are actually taken care of here, to ensure that pipes are laid to all the bathrooms, the kitchen, and all the areas that need and use water. So as you can see here, what we normally use to ensure quality and of course constant pressure is the PPR pipe. That's what we use for our water inlet and distribution within the building. This is to ensure that there are no surprises when you start living in your house. There are no leaking pipes here and there, because this pipe, once done well, of course, withstands a lot of pressure and ensures that the building stands strong and tall at all times. So, and this also because we intend to use pressure pump to ensure stability in the house, to ensure that the water pressure is the same throughout the house, whether you are upstairs or downstairs. And of course, you want to use your shower and enjoy using your shower, right? So that is why we need to ensure that all the pipes we are using are top quality, to ensure that the pressure of the water that will come into the building will not break the pipe at any point in time. So that is what we've done here. The plumber has channeled the pipes where they are supposed to be, now in readiness for the casting of the decking. At this point, all the preparatory works had been done and the decking is ready to receive the concrete. And of course, the concreting begins. Now, by the time the concrete work was done and the decking was cast, it was observed that the following materials had been used. The 2 by 12 by 12 boards were 400 pieces. 2 by 3 by 12, 220. The bamboo that was used as overlong bamboo was 200. And this is the bamboo that you have to cut to 2 or 3 to be able to use them. Then, of course, we had the 4 inches, the 2 inches and 3 inches nails, which were about 4 bags. That's one bag of each, and the 2 bags of 3 inches nails. The 16 mm rods we used were 65 lengths. The 12 mm rods used were 315 lengths. The 8mm rods were 180. The binding wire was three bundles. Then the cement that was used to cast this decking, because there were a lot of casting to be done, and then the thickness of the beams we had to maintain, so we used 180 bags for this decking. Then the granites we used were the 20 tons granites, so we used 2 trips of that. Then the sand we used, of course the tipper available within the location is the 7 tons tipper, so we used 6 trips of that. And of course the electrical and plumbing materials used, the plumbing work and electrical work that was done here cost us about 1 million naira. And by the end of the day, the total cost of the material used to bring this project, this decking to successful completion, was 11,716,000 naira. On another note, the total cost of the labor, which includes the electrical work, the plumbing work, the carpentry work, the iron bending work, and all the ancillary jobs to bring this decking to completion, was 1,500,000 naira. And this brings the total of both the material and labor to bring this decking, to do this decking to completion, to 13,216,000 naira. Thank you for being with us this far, and see you in our next vlog.